another video. In this video, I'll be teaching you guys um, how to deliver checkmate using two rooks. So in this checkmate, you don't really need the help of the king, as the two rooks can deliver checkmate on their own. So basically, the main idea of this checkmate is to use your rooks as walls. Um, like let's say this rook controls this entire um, file, right? Because it's like a straight line piece. It covers the entire row or column, right? So you have to use this rook and basically restrict the amount of squares the black king or the opponent king can travel to. So for example, let's say I play my rook to f3. So what this move does is takes away the entire third rank from the opponent king. So this king has to go somewhere like, let's say, c4. And now what I can do is I can bring my other rook and give a check, right? So what this does is the king cannot go to the third rank, and it cannot stay on the fourth rank either, right? Because this rook is covering it, so it has to go back. And that's what you have to do in this checkmate. You have to force the king back. And once you force the king back, um, these rooks basically act as walls, and it forces the king back into a smaller um you can say box, right? And this is a box that this king is stuck in, right? Before, when these rooks, let's say these rooks were on e1 and f1, then this king would be free to go anywhere, right? He wouldn't be like stuck or confined. But here he's confined to a smaller box, right? So that's basically the main objective. So now, since he played king to c5, and this rook is guarding this fourth rank, you can bring the other rook in and play rook to f5 check. And what this does is it checks the king again and forces the king back to a smaller box. Now the box is even smaller, right? Actually, it's not even that big. It's only this much, right? Because the rooks can control these files and ranks at the same time, right? So now you can't play rook to e6 check because you can just take it. So instead, what you can do is this rook is already doing its job. It's covering this fifth rank. So all you need to do is get this rook on the sixth rank somehow. Um, you can basically do this by moving it to the other side of the board. So this king is on d6, right? So the farthest away this rook would be on, let's see, you can move to h4. It'll be pretty far away, right? And the next move you're in mind is rook to h6, which would give a check and force the king back, which is what you want, right? You want to force the king back into a smaller box. So let's say I play, as black, I play king to e6. Now this king is attacking this rook, and we don't want to move this rook like down or like backwards. So we wanted this rook to stay on this fifth rank, right? So what we can do is we can keep it on the fifth rank, but we can move to the other side, right? If we move to the other side, the king won't be attacking it, and it'll still be guarding it, this fifth rank, right? And the king will still be in the small box we were talking about. So let's say I play king to f6 now. So now, since you can your h6 square is available, you just have to play rook to h6. And now this fifth rank is covered, so it can't go fifth rank. It can't stay on the sixth rank because this rook is covering it, so it has to go back. It has to go to the seventh rank, right? And again, your rook is being under attack. It's under attack, so just move it to the other side. So can go rook to b6. Now your just intention is to play rook to a7. So this is really like straightforward. You just have to whenever your rooks are under attack, just move it to the other side. And then the main rule is just to use the rooks as walls that restrict the squares that the opponent king can travel to, and just make that box we talked about. It's like a box, right? This box, just make it as small as possible, right? So now, since we moved our rook to b6, let's say the king goes to king f7. Now we have our move rook to a7 check. And finally, we have um our king, the king in the 8th rank, right? It's the smallest possible box you can have in this kind of checkmate, right? So that's good. And the final move is to deliver checkmate is rook to b8. So notice how your king is completely trapped. You don't have any squares to move to because both these rooks slice these two ranks, right? They slice them and this king has nowhere to go. So this is basically the position that you'll find um, to give checkmate using both these rooks. And I think it's known as the double ladder mate or something, because these rooks act as like, once again I said walls, right? They act as walls that block these entire ranks so that the king cannot um, go anywhere near them, right? So um, I hope you guys learned how to deliver a checkmate with two rooks, and I hope this was really helpful. And I hope you learned in general about how to give checkmate with two rooks. And I'll see you guys in the next video.